When I was getting bullied, my stepbrother was the only one who had my back. I looked at him like he was my savior. That is, until I saw him with the bully, arms draped around each other, laughing carelessly. Hit him harder. Just looking at his face makes me sick. I let out a cold laugh. He turned around, his smile freezing instantly. Later, he knelt on broken glass, plunging a knife into his own chest, desperate and manic. Chris, kill me if you want, just don't leave me. If that's how you feel, then go ahead and die. On your knees. Crawl over here. Brad sat in the center of the crowd like a king. He casually smashed a glass bottle on the floor. Shards flew, landing near my feet and tearing the fabric of my uniform pants. I pressed myself into the corner, staring at the glass-covered floor. My fists clenched so tight my knuckles cracked. This wasn't the first time. A month ago, my mom married my stepdad and dragged me to this elite prep school. I hadn't done a thing, yet I became their target. Seeing I wasn't moving, Brad crossed his legs and raised an eyebrow. Not willing, should I make Liam crawl for you instead? Hearing Liam's name, my head snapped up. I glared at Brad with bloodshot eyes, my voice trembling. Don't you touch him. Liam was my stepdad's son. He was the only person who protected me when I was being tormented. I couldn't drag him into this. Cut the crap. Are you crawling or not? Blood rushed to my head, my heart pounding against my ribs. My body felt hot, but my insides were ice cold. Amidst the jeers of the crowd, I slowly bent down. The sharp pain was agonizing. I gritted my teeth, refusing to let the hot tears in my eyes fall. It was only 15 feet, but it took me a full half hour. I was shaking from the pain, collapsing on my back, gasping for air. Brad walked over, crouched down, and patted my cheek. A dog needs to act like a dog. Now that's a good boy. I didn't know how long I lay on the empty bathroom floor. Eventually, I got up and dragged myself out of the school. Liam was still waiting for me. Chris, what happened? Did they do this again? Liam saw me and ran over, his eyes full of panic. I leaned against him, too in pain to speak. I'm going to find Brad. Liam was a year younger than me, but already taller. He had refined, expensive features and a gentle personality that made everyone like him. Now he looked down at me, his eyes red, his voice choking back a sob. Seeing him so worried about me warmed my heart. It solidified my resolve. I could never let Brad hurt him. I had to protect him. Weakly, I grabbed the hem of Liam's shirt. Let's just go home. It hurts. Liam pursed his lips and hoisted me onto his back, careful to avoid my injuries. The clean scent of soap on him was comforting. When we walked in, my mom was in the living room sipping her afternoon tea. She jumped when she saw me covered in blood. What happened to you? She rushed over, taking me from Liam. Liam started to say something, but I shook my head at him. Better to keep him out of it. Mom and I went upstairs alone. Mom, I'm being bullied. I want to transfer schools, I said, looking down. For a long time, she didn't say a word. A terrifying feeling washed over me. I looked up. Her eyes were red, but she wouldn't meet my gaze. I worked so hard to get you into this school. Your stepfather and I, things aren't stable yet. Son, did you offend someone? Tears instantly flooded my eyes. My throat burned. I wondered if I had actually died on that floor of broken glass. Otherwise, why would this hurt so much? The woman in front of me felt like a stranger. Was she really my mother? So why didn't she care about me at all? She didn't ask if I was in pain. She didn't ask who hurt me. She only asked if I caused trouble. Because everyone at that school was powerful, and she was afraid I'd cause problems for her. I couldn't speak, just let the tears stream down my face. She stood up abruptly and rushed out of the room without looking back, her voice trembling. I'll go find the first aid kit. I sat in the dark room, curled into a ball, feeling a bone-deep chill. My hand unconsciously moved a small knife toward my wrist. Suddenly, the door opened. I looked up to see the hallway light illuminating the figure behind it. Liam stood in the light, speaking softly. Chris, let me help you with your medicine. It was Liam. He had saved me again. Brad wouldn't let me go. During study hall, they dragged me into the equipment room. I didn't struggle anymore. Resistance was futile. The teachers didn't care, and neither did my mom. More importantly, I was terrified they'd turn their attention to Liam. I was pinned under Brad's foot like a broken doll, numbly wondering how he planned to torture me today. Then, I spotted a pair of sneakers in the corner. I froze. Those were the exact limited edition ones Liam wore this morning. I looked up, but the corner was empty. Hey, you being this obedient is boring. Brad grabbed my chin, frowning at me, then suddenly smirked. Why has Mia been talking to you so much lately? You like her or something? I paused. Mia was a classmate. She seemed to have a crush on Liam, so she kept asking me about him. Rumor had it she had rejected Brad. No, we're just classmates, we barely talk. I mumbled. I couldn't explain too much, or Brad might go after Liam because of Mia. Brad scoffed and turned on a camcorder next to him. Makes sense. Who would want a coward like you anyway? I looked at the black lens, anxiety rising in my chest. Brad had a cigarette dangling from his mouth, looking bored. Strip. I've put so many bruises on you, I want to document them. Might as well show the class so Mia doesn't get the wrong idea about you. My pupils constricted. I bit down hard on the hand holding me. The guy yelled in pain and let go, and I bolted for the door. Get him. I didn't expect to run right into Liam at the door. He seemed to be there to grab a basketball. Seeing me, he smiled and started to say hi. My scalp tingled with fear. Brad and his crew were right there. I grabbed Liam's hand to run, but someone grabbed my hair from behind. Both Liam and I were dragged back into the room. Liam was pinned to the side while Brad grabbed me. So you bite now, huh? He patted my face, his gaze sweeping over Liam with an unreadable expression. I froze. If you won't do it, maybe he can do it for you. Can't bring the camera for nothing. Do it yourself? Or should the boys strip you? Liam frowned, staring at Brad with confusion. My hands and feet went cold. I shut my eyes tight, my fingers trembling as I reached for my uniform buttons. I couldn't drag Liam into this. He was too good. He couldn't go through this. Liam's gaze was on me, making the humiliation unbearable. Eyes squeezed shut, I slowly took off my clothes. Brad. Liam's voice was different than I'd ever heard it. Furious, terrified, and full of warning. I'd never heard him sound like that. I felt Brad pause. Then he scoffed and shoved me onto the floor. TCH, lost my appetite. Get out of here, both of you. Brad was talking to me, but his eyes were fixed on Liam, staring intensely. As I walked past him, Brad leaned down and whispered in my ear, pathetic. You don't actually think Liam is one of the good guys, do you? Maybe Brad got bored, but he didn't come looking for me for a few days. Whenever I ran into him, he'd just stare at me with that weird expression. Half pity, half mockery. When I got home, the house was empty. I stood in the living room, dazed. Liam walked out of the bathroom drying his hair. He said coldly, my dad took your mom on a trip. I don't like strangers in the house, so I sent the maid away. He emphasized the word strangers slowly and heavily. I sensed he was in a bad mood. Did you eat? Should I order something? Liam walked over, looked down at me for a while and said, you cook for me. I nodded, changed my clothes, and went to the kitchen. Not long after, arms wrapped around me from behind, a heavy weight resting on my shoulder. Liam? I felt this wasn't really appropriate for brothers, but Liam was acting docile, not doing anything else. Chris, why don't you fight back when Brad treats you like that? I blinked, reaching up to ruffle his hair. I'm afraid if I fight back, they'll target you. I have to protect you. Liam froze, then burst out laughing. Chris, you really are stupid. The last word was so quiet I barely heard it. Nothing. I said, thanks, Chris. You definitely have to protect me. I nodded. At school, while I was packing up, a girl ran up to my desk. It was the class president. She looked around nervously, then asked, is Liam not with you today? I shook my head. Liam was a grade below me. He didn't usually seek me out unless he needed something. She seemed relieved, then hesitated, speaking nervously. Do you know about what happened with Liam and Brad yesterday? Chris, what are you guys talking about? Liam was suddenly leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed, raising an eyebrow at us. The class president seemed terrified of Liam. She shuddered, clutched her books, and ran out of the classroom. I stood there, stunned. What about Liam and Brad? What was she trying to tell me? Why did she shut up the second Liam appeared? On the way home with Liam, I was distracted. Chris, are you suspicious of me? Liam asked out of nowhere, startling me. Suspicious of what? He stopped walking, turning to look down at me, his expression unreadable. Suspicious that Brad and I have something going on. I was suspicious. The class president's weird reaction, the sneakers in the equipment room, Brad's hints. Chris, that hurts. Did you forget I went to the hospital for you? I almost died. Liam's voice sounded hurt, his face full of sadness. Guilt instantly washed over me. Right? How could I doubt him over such flimsy evidence? He had no reason to do this. When I first arrived at the house, Liam and I weren't close. One day, Brad suddenly started bullying me, dragging me into an empty classroom and beating me with a baseball bat. I tried to fight back then, but there were too many of them. It was Liam passing by who saved me. He took a hit meant for me. The bat struck his head, giving him a concussion that landed him in the hospital. Since then, we became close. How could I doubt him? He was the only one who extended a hand to me. He had saved me so many times. My face burned with shame, and I kept apologizing.
I'm sorry, E.
Liam wrapped his arm around my shoulder. I didn't like the intimacy, but I accepted it. It's okay, Chris. Just don't doubt me again, or I'll be really sad. Liam's voice came from above me. I nodded repeatedly. But if you want to make it up to me, get me a birthday gift. My birthday is next week. There's a party. You have to come. Liam's birthday gift was a challenge. I looked for a long time and finally found a watch at the mall. It was too expensive, but after staring at it for ages, I gritted my teeth and bought it. Liam's birthday was on a Thursday. As the guest of honor, he left school early. I was worried I'd be late, so I brought the gift with me, planning to head straight there after class. Unexpectedly, Brad dragged me into the empty classroom again. Why are you looking at me like that? Thinking about it, you're actually kind of funny. How could I let you off so easily? What are you hiding in your jacket? It was the watch for Liam. He reached for it. I took a step back, which only fueled his anger. He forcibly ripped the gift box from my hands, tore it open, and laughed cold when he saw it. For Liam? You two are really close, huh? But do you really think rich boy Liam would wear something this cheap? Brad's humiliation made my face burn. I tried to snatch it back, but I was pinned to the floor. Another long, familiar beating ensued. When Brad left, he threw the watch onto the floor right in front of my face. Just like you, cheap trash. Don't bother giving it to him. I curled up, blood trickling from the corner of my mouth. My left arm felt broken. I couldn't even pick up the watch. I fumbled for my phone and called Liam. He answered almost instantly. Chris, when are you getting here? I choked back a sob, my voice raspy. I'm sorry. Something came up. I might not make it. Silence on the other end for a second. Then he hung up. I lay on the floor for a long time before finally crawling up and picking up the watch Brad had thrown. Liam wouldn't be like that. He wouldn't care if the gift was cheap. So, bruised and battered, looking absolutely terrifying, I went to Liam's birthday party. I didn't want him to be mad. Hey, this isn't a place for stray dogs. Security stopped me at the main entrance. Looks of disdain, confusion, and shock came from all around. I realized with painful clarity how much I didn't belong here. But Liam said he wanted me here. Fighting the pain in every part of my body, I clenched my fists, ignored the stares, and forced a smile. I'm Liam's friend. The guard scoffed and moved to grab me, but a classmate of mine intervened. I'll take him in. He looked me up and down. I knew he was only doing it because he wanted to see the drama unfold. I searched for a long time before finally spotting Liam in a corner of the garden. But why was he with Brad? Why would he invite Brad? Suppressing my shock and confusion, I walked quickly toward him. Bro, you really are ruthless, Brad said, clinking his wine glass against Liam's shoulder. If you didn't want that idiot to come, you shouldn't have invited him. But you specifically asked me to beat him up first. I almost got here late because of it. My legs felt like lead. My blood froze. I stood rooted to the spot. What was he saying? I moved my eyes slowly, staring at Liam. Liam laughed. A lazy, careless sound. Hit him harder next time. Just looking at his face annoys me. But don't you think it's fun? He treats me, the mastermind, like his savior. He even says he wants to protect me. What a dumbass. My heart hammered against my chest. My clenched fists cracked. The taste of blood filled my mouth. In an instant, everything made sense. The convenient timing of the bullying, the sneakers in the equipment room, the class president's unfinished warning, Brad's heavy hints. I really was a dumbass. I treated the culprit as my brother. I treated the devil as my savior. I got beaten to a pulp and still came running like a puppy to give him a gift. What a complete idiot. My eyes turned bloodshot, and I let out a cold laugh. Liam seemed to sense something and turned around. His smile froze the moment he saw me. He instinctively threw off Brad's arm and walked quickly toward me, his smile faltering. Chris, you made it. I met Liam's panicked gaze, raised my hand, and punched him square in the face. I used every ounce of my strength. Amidst the screams of the crowd, Liam fell to the ground, blood trickling from his mouth. I leaned over, pinned him down, grabbed his collar, and spoke through the heavy scent of blood. Liam, you can go to hell. My left arm hung uselessly at my side. The cuts Brad had opened on my face started bleeding again, dripping drop by drop onto the face of the person beneath me. I looked down, staring intently at Liam. Tears finally broke free, scalding him as they fell. I was such a waste. He was the one getting punched, yet I felt so pathetic it was laughable. Liam didn't fight back once. He let me punch him over and over until security rushed in and pulled me off. They pinned me to the ground. Liam seemed to snap out of it, pushing the guards away like a madman to help me up, screaming at the crowd with red eyes. Get out! Don't touch him! Liam! I looked up at him and scoffed. Stop acting. Aren't you tired? He trembled violently. Ignoring my struggle, he crouched down and hugged me tight, burying his face in my neck, sobbing and sounding wronged. Chris, listen to me, it's not like that. He was always like this, acting cute, playing the victim. He'd push someone to the brink of hell with his own hands, then play the savior. I was fooled by this act before, but not now. Never again. Using the last of my strength, I pushed him away and slapped him across the face. I looked into his terrified, tear-filled eyes. Liam, meeting you was the unluckiest thing to ever happen to me. Someone like you doesn't deserve a sincere heart. I turned around, ignoring everyone's stares, straightened my back, and walked out of the party step by step. The memories of the boy I knew shattered, piece by piece. I knew I had loved Liam. That's why I was so terrified of Brad hurting him. That kind, clean boy who saved me from hell every time. How could I not fall for him? But it was all fake. He was the real monster. The drama at the party reached my stepfather's ears. My mom, clearly having some skill, managed to stay in the family. I was sent abroad. I didn't fight it. I had a college in mind there, and getting away from Liam sounded good. I knew clearly that even if I wanted revenge, I didn't have the capital right now. I needed to wait. The night before I left, Liam knelt outside my bedroom door all night. He knocked, begging endlessly, his voice going hoarse. By the end, I could smell the strong scent of blood from inside the room. I sat there for a while, then opened the door. I didn't want any more trouble. Liam's hair was a mess, his eyes filled with tears, his nose red from crying. He was kneeling on broken glass, his legs covered in blood. Seeing me open the door, his drooping eyes lit up. He reached out, looked up at me, and grabbed the hem of my shirt, smiling ingratiatingly. Chris, forgive me. Okay? I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Don't go. I can't live without you. As he spoke, he started crying again, trying to stand up to hug me, but the pain in his legs forced him back to his knees. I looked at him with zero emotion. Does it hurt? Liam nodded pitifully, trying to act cute like before. But I just pulled him off me, pressed down on his shoulder hard, and said blankly, I went through this many times, and it hurt way more than this. Thanks to you. The look in his eyes shattered. He clutched my clothes, choking on sobs, unable to speak. Before boarding the plane, I got a text. It was from Liam. Chris, you can't get rid of me. You'll have to come back eventually. I turned off my phone, looked up at the blue sky, and chuckled. Yeah, I'll be back. After all, the debt hasn't been paid. Brad? Liam. I won't let a single one of them go. I majored in photography. During college, I participated in countless international competitions and made a name for myself. Over the years, Liam never stopped harassing me, but his father kept him on a leash, preventing him from leaving the country. I heard Brad entered the entertainment industry and became a top star, living the high life. Liam took over the family business and became a celebrated young entrepreneur. Hilarious. My first job back in the country was photographing a gala. I laughed when I saw Brad's name on the list. Hey, you over there? Come here. Brad's assistant called me over. I bent down to show Brad the photos on the camera. He didn't recognize me at all. To him, I was no different than a stray dog he'd kicked on the roadside, not worth the great Brad's memory. But then I saw someone unexpected. Is that Chris? Mia stood behind Brad, speaking softly. Brad froze mid-swipe. He looked up. Oh, the old classmate is back? Brad looked like he was about to say something else, but noticing Mia, he swallowed it. He wrapped an arm around her waist and said softly, Babe, can you go to the car and get my jacket? Brad lit a cigarette, looking me in the eye for the first time. You look human now. Impressive that you actually got Liam to cut ties with me. Does he know you're back? I didn't answer that. Instead, I smiled. Does Mia know you used to be a bully? Do your fans know you're dating despite your shady past? Brad's face changed. I had done my research. Brad had fallen out with his family to enter showbiz. The family had plenty of heirs, they didn't need him. He was easier to deal with than Liam. Brad's face went dark, threats hissing through his teeth. I just glanced at him and walked away. Passing the restroom, a pot-bellied rich guy blocked my path. He looked me up and down, greed obvious in his eyes. Hey handsome, you've got a great look. I frowned and tried to step around him, but he got aggressive, putting his hand on my waist. Before I could react, the man was punched to the ground. A low, suppressed voice followed. If you don't want that hand, I can chop it off for you. Liam had changed a lot. Before, his obedience was an act, but he still had a youthful vibrancy. Now, in his 20s, his eyes were gloomy, his aura cold and terrifying. Except for the face, he was unrecognizable. He pinned the man to the floor. The guy begged for mercy, but Liam didn't hear a thing. Eyes red, he smashed his fist into the man over and over until blood splattered. He was unhinged. Security arrived quickly. Liam waved off the people trying to stop him and walked toward me, step by step. He stared at me like a venomous snake locking onto its prey. Chris, I caught you. He forcibly dragged me into his car. The moment we entered his villa, he pinned me against the door and kissed me. Get off. Don't touch me. I bit down hard, the taste of blood filling my mouth. Liam pulled back just an inch, pressing his forehead against mine, staring intensely. He scoffed. I can't touch you? Then who do you want touching you? Using my dad to send you abroad, trapping me here. Chris, I really wanted to apologize properly. But you didn't want it. You threw me away first. In the dark room, Liam gritted his teeth, his voice raspy. Beneath the anger, there was a tremor, as if he was the one who had been wronged. I almost laughed out of sheer absurdity. If your love means endlessly torturing me, I don't want it. Why should I forgive you just because you apologize? I won't forgive you, Liam. I will never forgive you. Remember, you caused all of this yourself. You deserve this. Liam suddenly choked me, his eyes scarlet, fingers tightening. For a second, I thought he really wanted to kill me, but the next second, his strength vanished. As if remembering something, he grabbed my hand and ripped open his shirt. By the moonlight, I saw it. His arms were covered in scars. Cigarette burns, knife cuts, bruises from beatings. The locations were almost identical to the injuries I used to have. Liam's eyes were wet. He looked at me like he was begging for praise. Chris, look, I really learned my lesson. He didn't get it. Liam was heartless. He didn't understand at all. But I just reached out, tracing the scars on his arm, and whispered, Liam, if you really want my forgiveness, you need to show some sincerity. After all, back then you had an accomplice, didn't you? This punishment isn't nearly enough. Liam understood what I meant. Within a week, the people who had followed Brad in bullying me lost their jobs, their scandals exposed. But they were just pawns. The ones who truly needed punishment were Brad and Liam. I sat in the audience, smiling as I watched Brad on stage, basking in the adoration. He had starred in his first movie and won an award. Today was his birthday fan meeting. Brad, happy birthday, Brad! Fans screamed, waving colorful lights. Brad looked like the king of the world. He cast a loving look at Mia in the front row. I looked at the big screen behind him, anticipating what was to come. Ruining everything he had right when he thought he was a winner, that was true revenge. The lights dimmed. The fans quieted down, waiting for the highlight reel of Brad's movie. But the images on the screen were different. Slide by slide, it showed a boy's scars, a teenage Brad smoking a cigarette with a look of disdain, endless psychiatric reports, antidepressants scattered on the floor. Brad and Liam were born with power. They had no scruples, thinking a flimsy apology could fix everything, that I should be grateful and move on. I had nothing. My revenge required ripping open my own bloody wounds and displaying them to the world. But the coward who acted like a dog was dragging him to hell. The audience erupted. Whispers turned into shouts. Fans stood up, demanding answers. It was the first time I saw true terror on his face. It was delightful. I didn't hide, and Brad soon spotted me in the front row. Chris. He stormed toward me furiously, only to be blocked by Liam. Liam, are you an idiot? You're protecting him? You're next on his list. Brad screamed, his gentle celebrity mask shattering completely. Liam stared at the medical reports on the screen, his fingertips trembling, his expression hideous. None of your business. If he wants to destroy me, I'd gladly let him. Brad, eyes red, opened his mouth to yell, but approaching sirens cut him off. While investigating Brad, I found out he wasn't just a bully. He was into drugs and tax evasion. He was probably the first star to be arrested at his own birthday party. It was enough to keep him famous for a while longer. Prison would be enough for him. Chris, you never told me your life was that hard. I sat on the couch watching him, cold and unresponsive. Liam crawled on his knees to me, tentatively taking my hand. He looked up, his face full of desperate fawning. Chris, Brad, and the others got what they deserved. Can you forgive me now? I looked down at him and tilted his chin up. But, Liam, aren't you the mastermind? We were close, so I saw his pupils dilate in pain. His eyes reddened. His grip on my fingers tightened as he stared at me. In the end, he said nothing. He buried his face in my neck, hot tears falling. Chris, is there really no way back for us? I blinked hard, staring at the ceiling, forcing my own tears back. Liam, in the beginning, I really did like you. The body on top of me went rigid. Then Liam went mad. He grabbed a fruit knife from the table, wrapped my hand around the handle, and aimed it at his chest. He was crying, humble yet insane. Chris, kill me. Just don't throw me away. I pulled free, dropping the knife, watching him spiral. Liam, I won't kill you. You aren't worth ruining my future. Just live the rest of your life suffering in agony. Liam ended up in the hospital. I heard he slit his wrists. When I arrived, he was lying in the hospital bed, his wrist heavily bandaged. His eyes lit up when I walked in. Chris, are you done acting? I asked. Liam froze. When will you stop with these cheap tricks? If you want to die, go do it somewhere far away. Was it necessary to notify me? He never wanted to die. It was just a ploy to make me soft. Liam stopped hiding. The innocent look vanished. replaced by desperation as he grabbed my shirt. Is there nothing I can do to make you forgive me? I looked at him with disgust. You are incredibly annoying. Can you stop bothering me? At that moment, I realized the last spark of life in Liam was gone. Dead inside. He let go of me and took off his watch. I recognized it was the one I gave him years ago. 4 years later, aside from the scratches from when Brad threw it, it was pristine. He had treasured it. Liam knelt at my feet, holding my wrist, rubbing the scar left from my own attempt years ago. He put the watch on me, covering the scar. Chris, my mom died early. My dad didn't care about me. No one taught me how to love someone. After you left, I saw so many therapists. I learned so many romantic lines, learned how to be good to people. But you didn't want to hear any of it. They told me if you love someone, give them what they like, what they want. Believe it or not, I really wanted to die. I didn't plan on being saved. My hand at my side clenched. My throat felt tight, my eyes burning. Liam hugged me very lightly, his voice muffled. Chris, can you say you like me? Just once. I didn't speak. My last memory is the quiet room, Liam's soft chuckle, and a barely audible whisper. I love you, Chris. Liam truly disappeared from my life. Occasionally, I'd hear from business reports or tabloids that the head of the Liu family was becoming more ruthless, yet more reclusive. Every time he was photographed, he was dead drunk at a bar. The bar was named Longing. I frowned, feeling only disgust, and never paid attention again. My fame grew, my career skyrocketed. 6 years later, while photographing a new movie queen, I heard his name again. Liam was dead. Stomach cancer. He went painfully. Sigh, that Mr. Liu. He had everything, but he didn't take care of himself at all. Like he didn't want to live. I saw him once at that bar, bottle after bottle. The actress kept sighing. My hand on the camera paused, then resumed. My expression didn't change. But the next second, my phone rang. A strange man's voice. Mr. Su, hello. I am Mr. Liu's lawyer. You are the designated heir to his estate. When would be a good time to meet? I felt dazed. For a moment, I thought it was another one of his tricks. But a voice deep down told me it was true. I wasn't happy. I wasn't sad. I just continued my life, as if I had never met him. If only that were true. 3 years after Liam died, the old caretaker at the cemetery saw a strange young man. He wore a long trench coat, had a gentle face, and a calm aura. He brought nothing. He just stood quietly in front of the tombstone for a long time, not saying a word. After the man left, the caretaker walked over. Lying at the base of the young Mr. Liu's tombstone was a wristwatch. The entanglements of youth, good or bad, hate or love, eventually fade with time, scattering in the wind. The dead sleep forever in the earth. The living embrace the future. Epilogue. Liam. From my earliest memories, the house was filled only with the butler and countless maids. They took care of my daily needs, but no one was willing to spend time building a castle with me. I hated them. In my sophomore year, my dad brought home a woman for the first time. That was when I first met Chris. He was such a waste, holding his mother's hand, afraid to even look around. He was just like his mom. Annoying. Brad was one of my few friends. He said he could help me teach Chris a lesson. But when I walked by and saw Chris getting beaten, I took a hit for him before I even realized what I was doing. Unexpectedly, he became much closer to me after that. And I discovered something even more fun. I liked watching him disregard everything to protect me. He treated me well. He could only treat me well. So, I orchestrated Brad bullying him while pretending to be his savior. I was the closest person to him. I didn't think Brad would go that far trying to record it. After leaving that day, I went to find Brad. I wanted to stop. I didn't want to see Chris bruised and broken anymore. But Brad lit a cigarette, looked at me with a knowing expression, and frowned. You don't actually have feelings for him, do you? Getting soft? I froze. Instinctively, I denied it.
Impossible.
Me like Chris? What was there to like about him? So I laughed along with Brad. Wait for my birthday. I'll show you a joke. Until that day, I couldn't help asking Chris why he didn't fight back. Hearing his answer, I thought it was funny. But as I laughed, I felt something wet falling from my eyes. During the 4 years Chris was gone, I kept wondering if I had recognized my own feelings earlier, if I hadn't done those things, would we have had a bright future? I had never seen Chris like that. He was red-eyed and covered in wounds. His left arm hung strangely at his side, but his right fist was clenched tight, dripping blood. He glared at me with a look of pure hatred. In that instant, my mind went blank. The only thought in my head was that I couldn't lose him. But he left anyway. He went abroad. He abandoned me. For the first year, I wanted to apologize. I wanted to say I was truly wrong, to beg him not to unwanted me. But later, gradually, I just wanted him back. Forgiveness didn't matter, as long as he was by my side. After that, I started to hate him. I hated him for leaving me alone in that house devoid of life. I hated him for saying he'd protect me, then abandoning me like everyone else. But seeing him again, I only wanted him to forgive me. I wanted him to treat me like before. I always knew what Chris wanted to do. He wanted revenge on all of us. He investigated Brad, so I fed him clues. I used every method I could to beg for his forgiveness, until I saw those medical reports on the screen and the photos of his scarred wrist. That's when I truly realized what I had done. My therapist said I lacked normal empathy and emotions. I used to think that was fine. I didn't need useless things like that. But in that moment, I began to hate myself. I slit my wrists, but when I woke up and saw Chris, saw the cold disgust in his eyes, I realized I could never keep him. I could never earn his forgiveness. Wanting to die was real, but wanting to win his sympathy, to beg for his forgiveness, was also real. Please just say it once. Just once. Say you like me. But until the very end, I never heard it.